We continue with the formulations of herbs that has been found very effective in our clinical practice for more than 5 generations in our own family, and I'm sure that is the experience of all the Vaidya families in Kerala and elsewhere. But before we get into the herbs, it is very important to reinforce that it is always prudent to maintain an alkaline environment. If the blood, which has a pH of 7.35 to 7.45, if it maintains fantastic. So fermented foods really don't do good for immunity aspects. And of course, we do not want acidity hyper in the system. And that of course has to be very categorically made clear to any health seeker by any doctor, that just by supporting yourself with herbs, it won't be enough. You need right kind of practices. And that also brings us to the point of the relaxation of the mind and the emotions. And that is why pranayama, yoga, and all such kind of practices of yoga nidra profoundly help us to enhance the immunity's strength in the body. So now we would go towards the herbs very clearly. And if I may look into this, the Indian basil, you call it tulsi, you call it 18 varieties, you say 4 varieties in India, whatsoever. But the practice that was in the past used for conditions of very stubborn fevers and infections of various nature was to use the leaf of this, make a decoction, make inhalation, nasal inhalation. It's very important to close the eyes because eyes do not deserve to be heated. So eyes need to be covered and closed. You take at least 10 leaves, you can chew it, you can have the fiber of that, you can have the juice of that. So in any form it is consumed, has a fantastic effect for immunity, but that is best complemented with black pepper. Kerala is famous for black pepper, it's a land of spices too. So usually black pepper and tulsi, they have in combination the bitter and pungent taste. And the science of Ayurveda very clearly mentions when it comes to antiviral or antifungal or antibacterial properties, bitter astringent tastes are the best. And this is time tested and proven. It is very imprudent and of course not even honest to claim that this will help in coronavirus because I don't have a data to support it. It's totally new disease or situation the entire medical community the world over has faced or is facing. But still, we can keep the antiviral management from our side through this mechanism. You can have it as decoction. You can take about 5 to 10 grams of this black pepper, about 10 of this leaf, make a decoction. You can have it multiple times of the day. It's very simple. You just have to boil this in about half a liter of water. You have 100 ml different times of the day at a gap of 2 to 3 hours, very much strengthening your system. On top of that, the inhalation of the same is very important because the respiratory is what is getting affected in corona also. The symptoms are known to everyone: flu, fever, dry cough, tiredness and whatsoever. Asymptomatic also is also reality. Along with that, something that is very effective in the practice of Kerala Ayurveda, and I will owe this information to Dr. C.D. Sahadevan sir. The fraternity of Ayurveda community in Kerala calls him the top gun. The top gun of Ayurveda, Dr. C.D. Sahadevan sir, in a town called Thodupuzha, district of Idukki in Kerala. He advised the entire community of Ayurveda from the background of his experience of more than 45 years of clinical experience and of his tradition too. Ajwain, or we say ayamodagam, you call it carom seeds, everything is the same. This is like about 15 grams of this, nearly 3 teaspoons, boil in about 500 ml water, half a liter, and make it about 300 ml. 50 ml you take drinking morning, evening, and even 3 times is fine. And then use the remaining portions to gargle. And this has a fantastic effect in the past dealing with communicable diseases, infectious conditions, and such conditions which were very tough to be cured. We would call the context of Vishamajvara, whatever academic backgrounds, I'm not getting into it. There's another method to boil it in about 500 grams, 500 ml, reduced to about 150, 50 morning, 50 evening ml each drinking, and 25 ml each for gargling. It's also very, very effective. So I think these home remedies at least can strengthen your system. And we are optimistic of the fact that nearly 80% of corona affected patients do not get into the danger zone. So which is always a good news. And we just have to ensure that we do the right practices to protect our immunity. This specific audio clip was helplessly extended to more than 5 minutes by virtue of the gravity of the topic and the necessity to share what is done for centuries in Kerala Ayurveda. I am part of a family that is 5 generations into Ayurveda. I hope it is useful to maintain your health and immunity.